After switching from a 1-prop to a 2-prop design, the Boxwing was finally ready for the first print.
Just added some filament alignment pins to the front half of the upper wing outlet, and we'll be gluing that together shortly. Put a bit of glue on there now and we'll press those two sections together. Of a successful glue between those two parts using filament as alignment pins. Having now printed this part out, I've decided that that vertical split isn't very aesthetically pleasing, so I'm going to try and modify that to match that drawn on line. Fine layer of oil that I've put on this Bambilab. Here we can see the original first split, which was a vertical split along the trailing edge of the wing, and this one here I've gone and followed camber, or the angle of the wing, which I think is much neater. On the final versions I'll be having some alignment pins. In this instance here I was just trying to build this in such a way that I could test. Part of the skid is actually quite well reinforced. If that hits the ground, then we've got this join line here through here which will take some of the impact. The angled second version here, much better result. Here we have the parts for the port wing upper and lower outer sections, printed all very smoothly on the Bambilab with PLA Aero. Really nice transitions and stepping through this area here. Smooth surfaces, very little sanding required, if at all. See here sort of in the light, this particular item just got caught a bit on the build plate, but for the rest of it peeled off beautifully. And this part is absolutely pristine. This end's beautiful. It will mate nicely with the stepped end on the wingtip here. So that'll slot in like so and complete that top section. The overall weight of all those combined components, let's pull out the scales. Here we go, 10 gram, 5, 11, add them all up, 34 in total. First step in this process is I'm going to cut up some filament. This is Delta-Fab lightweight PLA, guessing about a 10mm length. That's just going to help align the parts. I haven't added any. It would work so much easier if I had alignment pins. It's interesting that there's a difference between one Aero PLA and another Aero PLA there, both from Bambilab. Not like I'm using eSun or Colorfab or anything else, it's just the batch from one to the other is slightly different. This is whiter, this is more cream, and we can see that those openings. And see how we go, inserting the pins. I went a bit heavy-handed on that one. Now the point of these filament pins is that they're simple to cut, no need to print them. On our larger models, we prefer larger pins, they're just easier to work with. This is fairly fine. Technically I don't need that much, so I'm just going to trim those off to a height that's less likely to clash with anything in the hole. What I was hoping for in the structure of this outer wing was sort of a reinforcing element, and I've tried to achieve this by the split through the pontoons, giving me two large surface areas between the inner part of the wing. Adding some super glue to this surface. 3D files up to a point where Renee can print them out and we can do some flight testing. Removing this, so hopefully the Singer sewing machine oil is allowed. That's brilliant. The part itself just pulled away, and my goodness, that just falls off. And all these little sprags rub away with a fingernail or a bit of sandpaper. That is not a bad result. This is a later version of the model. I did put in some alignment pin holes here, but earlier part on this section does not have those alignment pins. I do have my two hinge pin holes though for the ailerons and flaps, so I'm just going to eyeball this. This is a non-functional assembly here. I just want to try and get the overall shape, feel for the parts and a feel for the size of this model. Here just a quick test with the aileron hinge carbon rod pushes through. Really happy with the way this wing junction has worked out, coming in at that oblique angle, cutting through, creating a bit of a junction right in the middle of the front tip of the pontoon and then nicely up the side.
And here Mark is preparing the first Boxwing prototype without any RC. Today's video is sponsored by PCBWay, which offers you great prototyping services like CNC machining, sheet metal forming and 3D printing. They offer a big variety of many different materials. You can easily drag and drop your projects on their website and they will manufacture it for you and send it within 24 hours if needed. They got great machines and great services, so check out their website pcbway.com to figure out the correct CG. Let's see how it flies.
Two nose heavy.
The idea was to move around these metal weight inside the fuselage till we got a smooth glide path.
Rudders, the ailerons and the flaps. Let's see if we can get another flight out of this one. Totally destroyed. Fuck.
In the first place, this doesn't look like a success, but Mark doesn't give up and the testing was go on just with the Delta-Wing. So we could nearly figure out the perfect position for the CG, which I will later use for my RC flights. And after these first glide experiences, it was my turn to build up the first RC model. So here's a sneak preview of the upcoming Boxwing in its design. Green and gray. Looks wonderful. And here we got an outer wing part on the slicer on the Bamboo Studio. Take a look. Preview printed with 3% gyroide infill, just one outer wall. And let's go to the printer. And the first Boxwing parts getting ready. We got the canopy wing part. Fuselage is printed. Here's another one. Here we are. Super fast. Take just some seconds. Okay, maybe some minutes, but super fast the Bamboo Lab. Now I'm printing here with 45mm per second and it's still a super nice quality. I was also raising the speed on the other printers, but there the quality is getting worse, so the Bamboo Lab is really above all of them. And the link for the Bamboo Lab you find underneath in the video description. This is the absolute, from all the printers you can see here, it's my absolutely favorite, especially with this AMS system when you want to change the colors. This is an absolutely no-brainer and the quality is superb. Link in the video description. And the big fuselage parts getting ready from the Boxwing. One and the second one. Wonderful, love this color. That's color fab. Here just bend it a bit over the edge and then you can easily go underneath the spatula and remove the parts. Wonderful quality. Just a little bit stringing. That's here from the reinforcement on the lower skid, but no problem. We got some small parts, covers for the aileron hinges and also a big wing part printed by the ender. And let's take a look at our loud printer, the SK1. Big wing and the kitty smaller wing part. Think this evening could be finished. And the Bambu Lab finished. One of the last box wing parts is the lower wing, the tail part, very big from lightweight PLA, looks super nice. And the PLA parts for the box wing are already printed from tough PLA, quite good, no mistakes. Put them here in this little tray, ice cube tray, to easy find them. The adhesive is just perfect, not too much, not too less. You can easily wrap it with the hand. Superb. It's the best surface from all the printers here. This Bambu Lab surface, I just love it. So let's start with the box wing. Here we got the parts. I always use the small trays to sort them to see if everything is printed. I would say we start with the fuselage, the lower section and the canopy. Start with the easy parts, and the front and the rear. And for preparing we need these small pins. This is just normal PLA, cut it to 11 or 8, I think 8 millimeter pins. Just see if this fits quite perfect. So maybe here is a little bit sanding necessary. This looks good, this looks good, this fits also. First I do a dry fit, means without any glue, to see if this works. And this works perfect, this fits. So let's add the super glue, using medium super glue. Just a little bit, the gap is super small. So, and to the other side some accelerator. And then put it together. To the plain side and removing the excess super glue. Perfect. Perfect. Just love it. And going on with the nose section. Yeah, it's growing, but still super lightweight. And time for the rear section. This time not too much press to not break the nose. So let's check the fit. Our idea with these clips is working well. Yeah, holes. So yeah, could also be a bit more tight, but let's see when these extra reinforcement bridges are installed. The moment the fuselage can bend. Maybe we add one more here. Let's see, but this works really nice. Super easy to grab here. That's good. I grab some wing parts. This is the inner, this is the rears. Let's see what makes sense. Yeah, putting them here. Or first I think first put the whole wing together. Yeah. We got the lower wing, and this time there are no pins. This time we got these triangles. So there are no extra parts needed. So they are positioned by this. So applying super glue. So here I put in some plastic film to prevent any bonding on the wood surface. Then add the accelerator. Press it down and press it together. And the second part can be added. Good fit. Yeah. Remove the excess glue. Let's go on with the wings, attaching to the fuselage. And I'm trying out some tricks to easier work with these pins. They are a bit too long in the first stage, and now I'm cutting them in about 60-degree angle. There is a sharp top that they much easier fit into the opposite holes. Let's see how it works. Yeah, this works much better. As if you cut 90 degrees straight, then there could be some problems to fit them in. So let's see if this looks good. Small gap, yeah, okay. So super glue is applied and I stretching it a bit. Let's go. Yeah, spreading the super glue makes it not necessary anymore to remove it with the clothes, because it is much more even and much more equal. Yeah, I like this. I like the small tool. Just remove the super glue from here and tuning the pins for the other wings. Can cut them easily with this. I think this is the plier which is on all printers, and then bring on the super glue. I think here I will press it this way. Yeah. So, and grabbing the wing. Start with the front pin and then go step by step to the rear. So this fits, yeah, this works good. Here is still a small gap. Here I will add some super glue and let it go in. Some accelerator and press again. Perfect, it's growing and still super lightweight. Now I'm preparing everything for the upper wing. We got the vertical steps, part each. So the vertical steps are in place but not bonded yet, and it's time for the upper wing. I will start in the center, I would say, and also always put these two parts at first together and then at the last step all to one piece. So let's go with the center section. Check the fit, this looks good. Cutting the small pins and the engine part. Yes. Upper wing is growing. It's like putting butter on your bread here, working with this tool. Already this looks super cool. This negative V angle could be some future drone. Very nice. But now we have the outer wings. They go a little bit up again. Yeah, it's a wonderful design by Mark. So upper wing is done. Before I go on, I make sure that these holes are free. These holes, the axles for the flaps and ailerons, that there is no super glue inside. These are the outer winglets, the outer vertical stabilizers. Now I think I will at first put these together and then everything together. Because of this bigger surface, I will bond them first here and also bond them there and then attach the upper wing at last. Yeah. Oh, this thing looks so great. Such a smooth and slick design. Okay, but we have to go. So in here is still a little gap. Fill it up with some super glue. I think this can be closed. So now press it again. I'm checking the lower side as well, because this is a skid. This should be solid. There is no gap needed or wanted. Act like a reinforcement and press a little bit. Yes. So as the outer V-steps are installed, I go on with the inner ones. First check the fit, everything looks good. The carbon rod a bit up, that it will be bonded. Down, railing edge, so and then bring it in position and pressing it down. It looks a bit to the outside, so make sure that you install it in the right angle. And of course, this should be in the inside also, the wire channel. Yeah. This looks good. Okay, go on with the next. I was adding some block, it's about 1 centimeter thick. Put it under the fuselage so you can press it down and you don't bend the whole construction. It really helps a lot for the bonding process. Afterwards, I'm adding a bit super glue right here to this gap for best adhesion. Yeah, this looks good. And finally, it's time to combine upper and lower wing. Let's see. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. I will bond this in 2 steps. First, I will start with this area. After this, I will go to the outside. So let's put some super glue on the bonding surfaces, except the hole for the rudder axle. Just these areas here. Add a little bit. Okay. Go. This edge should align to this edge. Then everything is great. So let's see how this looks like. Don't run into the pockets. So the inner vertical steps are bonded. Now it's time for the outer ones. Let's see, let's put in some pins and the second side. So let's check again the clearance and alignment. Okay, that looks perfect. Oh, this is blocked. We need a small drill. So let's see. So right before installing the rudder, I also put on the ball head. It's much easier to do it separate. And now the carbon rod can be put in. So I let a little bit extend over there in case you have to remove them, so you can easily grab it with your pliers. Just some millimeter are necessary. 1 or 2 millimeter, very little. So, and this looks just wonderful. so amazing. Rudders are there. So what is left? Other deflection surfaces, the ailerons. Yeah, and then it is nearly finished. Okay, let's put them on. And the good thing on this upper wing is it makes the whole construction much more solid, even with the super lightweight. This is just 4% infill, so still super lightweight. Let's have a look on the scale. And we got at the moment 223 grams for this construction. So nearly finished. Let's see what's the canopy bringing. 258. So I think we will end under 300 grams for this tiny guy. If there is any resistance with this carbon rod, just put it on some kind of drill and go through the hole and make it free. And this should run nice and smooth. And time for the linkage arms. And now the flaps or ailerons can be installed. The inner first. Just bring in or push in the carbon axle. Make sure that it is aligned with this surface. And we can go on with the outer aileron till it is aligned with this surface. Last push with the plier. So now it's perfect aligned. When it is running not that smooth, just push it a bit to both end positions and it makes it own way free, but be carefully that nothing breaks. Should run super easy. There is now not too much load on the servo. So let's have a look again on the total weight. 275. I think that's a good weight, under 300 for most of the printed components. Just a very little left here. And now it's time for the electronics. For this Maiden I was using the CG Mark figured out from his first glide tests.
Weltpremiere.
At first I was testing the ground handling and I was super surprised how maneuverable the Boxwing is. It behaves almost like an hovercraft. You can direct it to left and right with a small rudder input. So even this was big fun gliding around on the grass. It was getting late and darker, so time for the Maiden. My cameraman Bernd was helping me to fulfill the first vertical takeoff, so sadly there is no video footage from it, but we will make it later on the next test flights. But nevertheless, this thing flies absolutely phenomenal from the first moment. So let's have a closer look to the Boxwing and the results from the test flight. At first, the CG was not that correct. I think it was about here, but it has to move a lot more to the rear, so minimum 1 centimeter. But this makes some problems with the battery. You can see it's really full with all the electronics, so we have to design something new. I think like an upper rail up here that the battery can be moved a lot back and forth. Of course, we also want to add some FPV technique in the front to get the right CG, and also we want to make the CG more up, that we got the less momentum from the motors. Now you see that the motors are quite up. So the goal is to do a vertical start, a vertical takeoff like this. And on the first try, I really tried this, but you can see what happened. There was not enough deflection from the elevators. And the first start was going a little bit like this. It was also because I was not pulling enough. So for the second start, just my buddy Bernd was a little bit supporting here, and then it really goes up. So we got a flying weight from about 500 grams and the thrust from 900 grams. So vertical takeoff is really no problem. Also with these counter-rotating motors, there is no momentum problem. And other thing which I find really interesting is you see all these small insects here. I don't know if this is caused from the downwash, because at the moment I got propellers rotating this way so that they do a downwash to the center. And what is your thought? Could it be better when they rotate to the opposite direction? I will also test it. But at the moment, I think we got these vortices from the Delta-Wing that go, I think they go like this. and they are supported by this direction. So, but just an idea from my side. I will see if this even works better when they rotate the opposite. Yeah, and also what we will do is to give the whole thing a little bit more position like this to make the vertical takeoff more easy. And at the moment we also made these elevators or flaps a little bit longer to get better momentum. Yes, and with all this, I think vertical takeoff will be absolutely no problem and will be super nice. And I'm also thinking of a landing like this, yeah, because we got a lift alone from the motors on the upper wing, and we can fly with really big angle of attack. So with a little bit headwind, I think it can land like this. Yeah, we will check it. And of course, we want to add some more volume to the lower fuselage to make start and landing on water possible. So a lot of things to do on this little guy. Yeah, this is a super fun plane. Yeah, this is the most easy to fly plane or jet or plane, I would say, I ever had. It's so super easy to fly and so to maneuverable. I really love it. And also take a look at our web shop, aerojtp.com. There you can find our already finished designs, like here the JRM family with the 70mm JRM jet, the microcruisers 50mm JRM version, and the Junior 30mm EDF as well. Yeah, so check it out. It's a super nice and easy to build airplane, I would say. We see us in the next video. Bye bye.